Sri Lanka, and it's another beautiful Monday morning. I'm sure you're busy getting ready for the day ahead as well as the week ahead. I'm sure you have things to do, people to meet, bills to pay. But if you are in debt and you're living beyond your means and you're broke before the month is through, then you've tuned into the right morning TV show. And I'm your host Amaya with my co-host.
And I am Vasam. Good morning, Sri Lanka, once again. Like Amaya said, it is a Monday morning and it is the 24th, which means usually payday is around 25th to the 30th at the end of the month, which is why I think it is interesting if we actually give you a few insights on how to properly manage your household budgeting, how to pay your bills on time. There are a lot of topics we're going to cover, and we will have an interesting guest coming in later on to discuss how efficiently you can go on living without being broke all the time. But before we do introduce him, we here at Good Morning Sri Lanka, we do have a few insights as well, which Amaya is going to start off with.
Yes, of course. And we here at GMSL believe that you have to lead a full life, full and happy life. So financial stability is very important for your peace of mind, and we have a few insights to help get us to a show started off. First one, always strive to have a month's salary in the bank at all times, in addition to your actual bank balance. And if you can't save, invest. Buy things you need. Cheaper versions of your necessities are available. If you have a smoking habit, quit. If you need a reason, do a calculation of how much you spend each month on your smoking habit, and then think about what else can I spend it on. And Vasam has more insights.
Well, definitely, Amaya. Well, the other thing everybody complains about is the fact that, they spend a lot of money on entertainment. A lot of people go out during the nights and they say that, leisure life is quite expensive. So the other thing you can do is actually plan that out and, find cheap methods of entertainment. Maybe on a different day you can see how much you can cut down. I don't know, go to a library, take a walk in the park. Those are options. And fund an alternative source of income, maybe writing or selling, or you can use your selling your second-hand household items and clothes are good ways to find extra income as well. And the other thing you can do is maybe you can try and eat in instead of always trying to go out and eat, because it is a cost-effective method. Of course, here in Sri Lanka we do complain that it is really, really hard to save, but actually that may not necessarily be the case, because it's always how to manage yourself.
On that note, Vasam, I think we have a video ready to give you some insight about financial stability. So let's go to the video.
How to live below your means. The only way to stop messing up your finances is just spend less than what you make. With the right attitude, a little budgeting, and these steps, anyone can do it. All you need is a list of your expenses and sacrifice and discipline. Step 1. Keep track of everything you spent for the past months. Then compare the total to your monthly income. If the money going out is higher than the amount coming in, figure out what expenses you can reduce, or better still, eliminate altogether. Take a look at big fixed expenses in your budget and see how you can downsize. You can't live below your means if you're paying for a car or electronics you can't afford. Step 3.
Well, there you go, a few insights from GMSL, but like I said, we do have a guest in the studio as usual to talk about this topic this morning, and I'm sure he would have way better insights. Of course, he is a familiar face if you do remember a program called Beyond Business right here on MTV Sports. We have Shafraz Salim. He is a lecturer for SIMA, and SIMA is known for financials, and he is also into brand management for Unilever. So, introducing Shafraz Salim. Welcome, Shafraz. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please have a seat.
Thank you. Thank you. Will do.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. So it's good to be back in the studios, but on a different show this time around. Yes.
Yeah.
It's great to have you here as well.
Pleasure's mine.
Yes.
Pleasure's mine.
And now financial stability and planning your household budget is not something they teach in the school curriculum.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, it's something that each of us have to do when we come to a certain
True.
age, and it's part of life. So how do you create a basic household budget?
Okay, see, now it's a very interesting question, Amaya, because all of us are complaining on a daily basis. Wasam was also giving the intro that, you know, we really have a lot of money at times. Sometimes you don't have money, so you need to balance it out. If you really think about it, Sri Lanka, we're not a very, very rich country, right? Because our GDP per capita, you're looking at close to around $2,800 roughly, which, you know, comes up to around 300,000. So if you really divide, you're looking at 25,000 bucks a month. That's not a lot of money. So if you really think about it, you need to know what's in your hand to start with. So once you know what's in your hand, try jotting down what exactly are your expenses, because all of us, we have certain expenses that are necessary, certain expenses that are quite avoidable. So as you figure out what is important, you know, maybe medicine, because you can't avoid Panadol, right? We Sri Lankans, we have Panadol almost everything. Headache, depression, sad, happiness, Panadol. So
I think that's actually something I wanted to ask you. How exactly do you define essentials from non-essentials?
yes. See, now an essential, if you really think about it, could be something that is supposed to enable you to sustain your life. So if you are an individual, if it is a requirement for you to sustain your day-to-day life, let's say water, let's say electricity. I understand electricity price is skyrocketing at the moment, but it's needed, right? You need light, you need water. So things that sustain your day-to-day life would be essentials, but things that enhance your lifestyle could be a luxury, yes, but the luxury can wait. Yeah, I mean, when you budget, you don't really count for luxury. So initially differentiate and then keep your essentials. A bye-bye to the non-essentials for a start, I think would make more sense.
I see.
And how do you downsize the fixed costs? Like you mentioned electricity, there's water, there's even things like maybe television, telephone. How do you downsize these bills? Are there ways of cost cutting? And
See, I mean, you're mentioning certain things like a fixed cost also could be in the form of a car insurance. Yeah, because that's a fixed cost that has become today, because Sri Lanka, you know, you drive while driving in the morning also, it's like completely bad, right? So that could be something you can really cut down on the insurance you pay by maybe negotiating for a better deal. Yeah, sometimes, you know, you have 2 people in the family, you have a vehicle for like 10. I mean, that's something you could reconsider. I mean, if you take electricity, basic things, because I think electricity is quite an interesting topic, because it's a two-pronged thing. Because electricity cutting down could also save your budget. It's also going green. So tell yourself, I need to go green, you know, and maybe switch off that, you know, light switch once in a way, you know, close the tap. So these are fixed costs which we can go down. I think this is general things which you can really cut down on to reduce your fixed costs. But having said that, a rent, maybe it all depends on your convenience as well. If you're living in a very urban city, because realize, you take countries like Malaysia, you take countries like the European countries, today more than urbanization, people are moving out of urban. So Sri Lanka could think of something like that. You can have a green life, you know, you can have a chilled out, calm life when you go out, and your fixed cost will go
I
down.
see. On that note, Shafraz, we do have a few more insights. So we will clip here with on Good Morning Sri Lanka. So we'd like to play that for our viewers, and we'd like to hear your opinion on that as well.
Step 3. Cut off all your credit cards, except for the ones you use for emergencies, and start using cash. Did you know? Cash customers spend 30% less than customers who charge their purchases to a card. If you're prone to losing track of your bank balance, stay away from debit cards. Step 4. Before buying anything, ask yourself, do I really need this or do I just want it? If you don't need it, don't buy it. If you're not sure, think about it for a few days. Step 5. Learn to cook meals at home. You can save a bundle just by eating in and not spending on takeaway. Not to mention, it's probably more healthy. Step 6. When you get a raise, make sure the extra money goes straight into a savings account. It's the easiest, fastest way to save, and contrary to what you might think, you'll never miss it.
Well, there you go, a few insights from Good Morning Sri Lanka. Shafraz, any comments on what you saw on
Okay,
screen?
I mean, I'll just comment on some of the credit cards. Now see, I mean, during my initial inception in terms of my career, started off at credit cards, but till today I've not used a credit card. The idea is very simple, because sometimes, for some reason, when you pay cash, you feel bad. It hurts you, you know, because you know there's cash going out. But sometimes when you give a plastic, you don't really feel it. Because the reason is because you don't realize that you're spending money. The idea is this credit card was initially invented to make your life easy. But what's happening today? Today we realize you don't have money, you want to buy, let's say, a TV or a LED. So suddenly you realize, okay, fine, let me get on credit. But one motto you need to remember always in life: if you can't buy it today, probably you can't buy it next month as well. So if you can't afford it today, too bad for you. You can't afford it again. And secondly, I think, again, the hindsight of it would be the fact that today world is going on e-commerce. Today China is looking at credit cards growing by 24%. The reason is because you can't also live without credit cards, because a lot of offers on the internet. So I think it's using it not using it, you don't avoid it, use it, but in a smart way.
And also, when you look at, I mean, we can say saving is good, saving is great, but the reality is that most of us are in debt. It's the opposite side of the spectrum. But can you be in debt and maybe invest at the same time? What are your opinions on that?
Okay, now let me put it this way. Let's say I'm in debt. So I'm in debt and I need to pay someone 10% interest. But I also save somewhere. Because maybe I have extra money which I save somewhere, that gives me a 13%. So then it's a good idea, but let me tell you, that doesn't happen. Unless you are trying to sell, invest in a different country, maybe the interest differentials. Otherwise, it really doesn't work. My idea is, don't be in debt. If you want to save, I mean, you might as well use that money for now, because what you need to realize is you're going to be in debt to someone, and he's going to be on your throat, and that's going to be a very difficult feeling. So you rather decide, okay, let's save. Then if you don't have money, you take debt, but don't do both. I think it's an oxymoron.
Well, we've been talking to Shafraz and his interesting insights on managing your budgets, household management, and all sorts of things. Of course, there are going to be a few angry bankers watching the show who's going to be coming behind Shafraz this Monday. But then again, we're going to go for a short break, but when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more on the topic of credit cards and savings and insurance and so on. So don't go away. We'll be right back here with Shafraz.